Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from Return of the Fan, and today we've got some spectacular allegations being made by Ruby Rose about what she had to go through in the first season of Batwoman that she was on, and then she left very suddenly at the end of the first season of Batwoman. Now, I'm not a fan of the show. The show is not made for me. I'm a cisgender male, so pretty much that show would not interest me at all. I'm not a particularly much of a fan of Ruby Rose either. But if what she's saying is true, then I really feel for what she had to actually go through when she was filming this series. She alleges terrible treatment by Warner Brothers and the showrunner on the set. Ruby Rose takes to social media with allegations against the Batwoman showrunner and Warner Brothers, claiming terrible treatment of the cast and crew. So not just herself, but other cast members and the actual crew. And there's been some quite a lot of accidents that have happened on the shooting for this show, so looks like it hasn't been run particularly well. So former Batwoman star Ruby Rose has taken to social media to detail several allegations against both the series showrunner and Warner Brothers. The Australian model turned actress was cast as Kate Kane in the Arrow vs. Batwoman series when it launched in 2019. Batwoman was introduced in the CW crossover Elseworlds alongside flagship heroes The Flash, Green Arrow, and then her first solo series. The Batman-related vigilante, who was DC's first gay superhero, takes up the dormant mantle left behind by Bruce Wayne to protect Gotham City. Despite the star appeal of Rose, the actress was surprisingly written out of the show between Batwoman Season 1 and Season 2, replaced by a brand new character, Ryan Wilder, who was played by Javicia Leslie. The character of Kate Kane was recast later in the season because the ratings were going down and they were desperate to try and get the ratings up. So they thought, well, why don't we bring Kate Kane back, because they'd killed her off, and see if that helps the ratings. But it hasn't really helped the ratings at all. They just had a different actress. They should have just recast her at the beginning of season 2 and not had a different character. But let's have a look at these spectacular allegations that she's been making. So Rose has broken her silence on her time on Batwoman, taken to Instagram to explain her side of the narrative. Across several posts, the actress details multiple allegations against her co-workers and producers, including former Warner Brothers Television Studios president Peter Roth. The actress began with her post with, "Dear CW, enough is enough. I'm going to tell the whole world what really happened on that set." Among other claims, Rose said the show's producers were responsible for her multiple injuries, one of which required surgery after she was told getting an x-ray for her damaged ribs would disrupt filming. So that's pretty bad, right? They're not really taking care of their stars, putting their filming schedule ahead of the health and well-being of their stars. And, these are just allegations at this stage, but if it's true, that would be really bad. But as you know, all of the people in Hollywood, they're really good at virtue signaling, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, they're complete hypocrites, and they're just as bad as other people they're trying to make out, who are bad as well. She went on to directly tag Batwoman producers Carolyn. So Carolyn Dries is a female who is the showrunner. So she's been acting badly to the cast and crew as well, apparently, if the allegations are true. And Sarah Schechter and Arrowverse head producer Greg Berlanti. Among the allegations are mentions of a sexual misconduct by Roth, as well as serious mistreatment of the cast and crew members on set, with the actress claiming she had enough video evidence of her injuries specifically to make a 1-hour documentary. Rose's posts have been documented on Twitter by Discussing Film and can be seen below. So I'm not going to go and read out her actual ones, but I'm sure if you did a search on the internet, you'll be able to find out exactly what she said. But it's interesting how she says she has footage of this. So later on, we're going to see what Warner Brothers' response is, and it might be that Ruby Rose will have to actually release that footage so that everyone can see what's been happening. So included in the post was footage of Rose in surgery. The actress said she was forced to return to work on Batwoman only 10 days after the procedure by Roth. The Warner Brothers head allegedly threatened her into returning by claiming she would cost the production millions and that the whole crew and cast would be fired. So if that's true, that's ridiculous, right? I mean, she's had surgery, only 10 days to recover. I believe it was back surgery as well, because she had an accident, which is really bad. So I would not agree with that at all. She shouldn't have had to go through that if that was true. Rose also claimed that one Batwoman crew member received third-degree burns over his whole body during production. Oh my god. Jeez, I didn't hear about that one. Which she shares witnesses would have had therapy after seeing, or should have had therapy after seeing. And the show also lost 2 stunt doubles while filming. Rose further criticised the unsafe work environment for causing serious injuries to other crew members before finally lambasting the show for ruining Kate Kane. And apparently, one of the crew members got hit by some sort of crane or something, and basically they were paralyzed after that. So that just shows you the incompetence of how the show was being run, and it was, these things have been true, right? So what she's saying does have some truth to it. Adding to the alleged misconduct, Rose claims that her rumoured on-set fights with other crew members were as a result of her speaking out about her experiences. What's more, in the height of COVID restrictions, Rose claimed the Batwoman production carried on during the pandemic while other CW shows like Supergirl and The Flash were put on hold. The actress addressed this by saying the producer Dries has no heart. A female person not having a heart? Oh my god, I thought it was only men that don't have a heart. Interesting. Rose's claims are extremely worrying and could lead to massive repercussions for both Warner Brothers and the CW. So that's the channel that airs the show. Though it's worth noting that neither have responded to the allegations yet. We'll come back to that because there has been a response. For now, Batwoman Season 3 is set to premiere this fall, with Javicia Leslie continuing. So some pretty amazing allegations being made. And if she says she had footage, then I think Ruby Rose needs to release that footage so that we can actually see who's going on. Otherwise, it's just a thing of she said, he said, she said, she said. So we need to know that. So the denials start coming through. So Dougray Scott, who is played Kate Kane's father in the show, has denied some of Ruby Rose's abuse claims. So Dougray Scott denies the abuse allegations against him made by former Batwoman co-star Ruby Rose, calling her comments defamatory and damaging. So Batwoman actor Dougray Scott denies the claims that he abused women on the set of the show. Rose was cast as Catwoman, blah blah blah. We all know that kind of stuff. Earlier, Rose, we talked about that already. So this is the things she said specifically about Dougray Scott. He was singled out, writing that he hurt a female stunt double and was a nightmare on set. She also alleged that he yelled at female co-workers and abused women. Rose claims she emailed producers to request a no yelling policy because of Scott's on-set behaviour, but was declined. So again, these are allegations, haven't been proven. So what has Dougray actually said? Dougray responded to the allegations in the statement to the Wrap, unequivocally denying everything and insisting that all of Rose's claims are entirely made up. So that's pretty strong, right? Scott's statement also repeats an earlier statement from Warner Brothers that the real reason for Rose's exit was because Warner Brothers Television decided not to exercise the option to engage Ruby for a season 2, based on multiple complaints about her workplace behaviour. So apparently she was let go because of her behaviour. So who's right? Is it because of Warner Brothers and the showrunner's behaviour that she left, or was it because of her behaviour that she was let go? So she says she's got lots of footage. She needs to release it now, right, so that we actually can see what about this. So the Warner Brothers television statement, Scott mentioned he came just hours after Rose's allegations went viral, with the studio calling her statement revisionist history, before detailing that it was the studio who decided not to renew her contract. In addition to calling out Scott's alleged abuse, Rose also claimed that he left when he wanted and arrived when he wanted, implying the actors didn't adhere to set call times and would leave before filming was finished. That probably doesn't surprise me, right? When you've got actors who have a reasonably good standing in Hollywood, they can probably pretty much make up their own rules and things as well. So let's hear what Warner Brothers have to say. So this is from Bounding Into Comics. Warner Brothers has fired back at Ruby Rose over her recent allegations of mistreatment, calling them revisionist history. Word of the CW's alleged workplace failings was first made public by Rose. Blah, blah, blah. We talked about that already. The actress also denied that her now notorious neck injury suffered on the set of Batwoman was not a factor in her exit, though she did note it was definitely made going back to work so quickly tricky. So she did talk about that, right? She was being forced to go back to work after her surgery. The actress claimed that the CW's widespread mistreatment of the show's crew, which allegedly resulted in abuse and injuries not only to herself but to also another crew member who was left a paraplegic. So I talked about that, right? They were left a paraplegic, paralyzed, in the aftermath of her accident, were the driving forces in her decision to leave the show. So what does Warner Brothers actually say? Ostensibly receiving word of Rose's post shortly after her published, Warner Brothers responded to accusations on October 20th, issuing a statement to various media outlets asserting that the actress's words were a form of revisionist history and that she was actually let go due to multiple complaints about workplace behavior. But Warner Brothers haven't said anything about the accidents that have actually happened on the show, because we know that that's part of that stuff is actually true. So I do think they have a case to answer for here. Despite the revisionist history that Ruby Rose is now sharing online aimed at the producers, the cast and the crew, the network and the studio, the truth is that Warner Brothers Television had decided not to exercise. So they're just talking about why they didn't go through with not hiring her, not the fact that she might have some valid complaints about the abuse and the accidents that have gone on in that particular show, right? So they haven't answered that at all. So basically it's nothing. They've said nothing. They just said we let her go, not that she quit. But they haven't actually answered any of her complaints. So at this point in time, I'm tending to believe Ruby Rose. What do you think? Do you believe Ruby Rose, or do you believe the Hollywood studios and Warner Brothers and the CW? Let me know in the comment section. It'd be very interesting to hear what you think. And I think, yeah, Ruby Rose, if you have the footage, can you please post it so that we can make up our minds and see actually who is telling the truth. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give it a thumbs down. If you like my content, then please subscribe. It just helps my content to get noticed by the YouTube algorithm. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video.